What up YouTube, it's Misery Hates Company. In this video we are looking at Marvel Future Revolution, more specifically my wish list for Marvel Future Revolution. There's been a lot of changes that have recently came to the game, and some good, some bad. Most good, I will say, most are good. But there are things that I would love to have in the game to really take this game to that next level. This game has fantastic potential. Marvel is a awesome IP that a lot of people are very passionate about. This game was developed in a fantastic manner. The monetization isn't horrendous. It does allow free to play to be beneficial, but there's definitely still things you need in order to really continue in a linear path like the developers would, and Netmarble would seem that they want us to go, that being a wider audience or wider hero base for these alliance raids or squad battles. All of it all together does require us to have more than just one main, which is different than most MMO RPGs. Now, they have openly said this is not a hero collector game, which is good. But we do get that aspect with the companions, which is fine, and I'm fine with that. But there's still things that I would like to change. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about what I would recommend changing to make maybe Marvel a little bit better for both free to play and just kind of everyone in general. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I also just have my Star-Lord kind of farming in training grounds, just as some background gameplay, if you will. But the first thing I want to talk about is obviously the core system. I did a whole video on the core system. It's no secret that I am not a fan at all of the new core booster system. I think it is atrocious. In fact, I would completely redo it and scrap it, or at least change it pretty dramatically. And now I won't go into too much detail on that because obviously I did make a full video and I don't want to repeat myself. So if you haven't seen that after this video, go take a look at that video. I'll pin it at the end of this video. But again, that's just something that we've been asking for a whole year now. And then as we approach the 1 year anniversary, we do what seemingly is a new change, and it's not a good one. The next thing I would change is Dark Zone. So Dark Zone is one of those things, I cannot remember the last time I've actually been into Dark Zone. It's just not something that I feel like it is worth my time to do. Now, they have asked the Content Creator Corp what we would recommend for Dark Zone, which I love. I love that Netmarble is asking us our opinions, and I really respect that out of them. I do want to make a video about this because I want to engage in the community. As a content creator, my job is to engage in the community and get a good pulse for what the community needs, wants, and feels like might be neglected in some cases. So when it comes to Dark Zone, in my opinion, I would make this a big change that wouldn't actually need to be a big change. So what I would do is keep it exactly how it is, except make PvE zones available. Make it so the 1 hour that you get for the bonus is just gone. Let it be an endless grind. Reason being, make it so you can get gear from it. Make it so that is our main source of fodder. Make it so that you get a bunch of 1-star gear from, rares or the little mini bosses, and then when the big bosses get, maybe it's a 2 or 3 star, or maybe it's just a chance at whatever. The reason I want it to be endless though and not have a cap on it is that will separate the difference between a free-to-play game and a pay-to-win game and a pay-to-rush game or pay-to accelerate your time in the game. Because if a free-to-play can spend more time in the game and get just as much gear as a whale can, that makes both parties feel like it's a win-win. The whale feels like they spent their money in a justifiable way. You can start the game and become a whale and get fully powerful and get fully netted out gear. Whereas if you're free to play, you're gonna have to grind. You're gonna have to spend several hours grinding as long as you possibly can until your phone dies, you recharge, it dies again, but you can grind and get to that same spot. Will it take several hours? Absolutely. And that's okay. And most people that I've interacted with that are completely free to play, regardless of the game, they're okay to grind. That's why they play the game. And this game has wonderful mechanics. I mean, it is beautifully done. The graphics are fantastic. The mechanics are awesome. We did get a little bit of a weird situation that I'm glad they addressed with Omega War and Alliance War, where there's just incredibly buggy and just like not playable. Sounds like they are aware of that and plan on addressing it. So thank you for that, Netmarble. But allowing a full-on grind area in the game that is beneficial to both free-to-play and pay-to-win would be incredibly advantageous. In doing so, it lets the free-to-play feel like they can maybe catch up if they feel like wasting or using as much time as they deem necessary, or it also gives us the ability of building up alts. So a whale might go into this new dark zone and want to grind a bunch of gear to work on their ults instead of their main. So it allows the player base to have a choice, and choices are good. Choices allow us to feel more engaged in the game, like we're not being punished. We don't like to feel like there's a linear highway that we have to go down, that this is the only 2 lanes that we can stay in. We like to have a nice 4 to 6 to 8 lane highway that we can do whatever we want. We want to feel like our decisions matter. It changes our gameplay. It changes our heroes, if you will. That would be one thing I just think would be such a huge game buster. The next item I would like to talk about is PvP. So they've openly said that they're tweaking different heroes here and there for PvP, which is awesome. However, we need a just stripped down naked PvP. And obviously not in an inappropriate sense, but in the sense of like no gear, no specializations, no anything, just your hero, skills, go. That would be fantastic because it allows for skill, it allows for testing, it allows for so many different things to be beneficial. And it will be it could be an in-game content for anyone to be to anyone to feel accomplished at. It would also, in my opinion, dramatically help Netmarble know exactly what needs to change. Can you imagine trying to look at in-game PvP right now and determining who needs to be buffed or nerfed? Because different heroes are going to be more successful at different levels based off different power thresholds. So you could have a Star-Lord, for example, who's like, yeah, I mean, Star-Lord looks awful, but then you see a fully built in-game PvP Star-Lord who's just one-shotting people. He's able to get this iframe on cooldown, and he's just being able to stay alive through all Omega Wars. Is that skill, or does he need to be tweaked? Now, you're not going to know that because you can never strip away all of that individual or hero's abilities. And sure, you could go into a dev server and manipulate this all you want, and we've seen that, and that's fine, but your player base is going to be able to test things way more for you. Imagine not having to spend that time to figure out what needs to be buffed and nerfed and just look at sheer analytics. I've played a lot of different mobile games in my time, and a lot of them, the ones that have been the most successful, use analytics when they make changes to their game. Netmarble has referenced this several times that they do look at analytics, but imagine not having to make your own analytics and be able to look at your players, A, enjoying a free-to-play PvP experience, and B, a completely naked one, so you know what needs to be changed, buffed, nerfed, or just adjusted. I think that would be a really good win-win for both the community, both free-to-play, both pay-to-play, as well as Netmarble, from a sense of they could get some really fantastic data to make some really calculated decisions in the game. Those are definitely the 3 things that I think that I would want the absolute most in the game. I think some honorable mentions would be some more cosmetics. We have a lot, in my opinion, but we're not fully cosmeticable or changeable when it comes to different things. You really only get to pick between 1 and 4, and there's definitely thousands of different altercations you can do with those different 4, but it would be cool to have maybe even a little bit more customization available, maybe adjusting colors your own, like to make it truly your own hero, because right now, sure, I mean, if you get special gear and you transmute it over to all your heroes, you get that gear on all your people and you get the 200 gems, which is nice, but maybe you could change the color of it if you have some type of currency that's free that you could adjust it. I don't know. Stretch here. I didn't spend as much time thinking about this one because it is just kind of an honorable mention, is cosmetics. But another one would be kind of cool, is like maybe like a pet system. It could be like I reference like World of Warcraft when it comes to this. You could make companions like a literal Pokemon battle, like 3-on-3 companions where they just go in and fight each other based off their existing traits. And it would be a little challenging with obviously like Punisher, who's summonable, and then you have other people who aren't summonable, so that would be a little hard. But it would be different. It would just be another layer of in-game content that you could grind, because ultimately what makes a game successful is going to be the whales that pay for it. But what's going to keep people here, your audience here the most, is going to be grindable content that doesn't feel like it's a grind into a oblivion of just wasted time, which is what it feels like right now for the new core system. And I'm kind of going back to that because it is a grind, which is good. Grinds are good, even if the player base doesn't realize how good a grind is to a game. Look at Diablo Immortal. I mean, that is a grind. It always has been a grind. All Diablo games are grinds. But you are grinding with the end in mind. You have it tangibly in front of you, and you know exactly what it is that you need to get that next piece of gear, that next legendary. You know which legendary you need to finish a certain build to make it even more powerful than the last time you did a challenge rift. We don't have that experience in Marvel Future Revolution. So that's all I'm really asking for, is a grindable content that feels good, because the most recent edition of the core system is a grind, but it's not a good one. It is a grind to a chance, to a chance, to a chance. You are spending all this time, money, and resources to get a 15% chance at a doubled down RNG system that just feels bad. And you could still, even with the 15% chance, have a third layer of RNG that just dismantles 2 of your 3 fodders. That doesn't feel good. So I hope you found this video interesting. I did spend a little bit of time on the 3 items that I wanted to change. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to start a conversation with all of you to see what your feelings are on this. Am I wrong? Do you think some of these ideas are, worthwhile? But let's have a healthy discussion about it. I want to see this game thrive. I want to see this game be successful. And these are 3 things that I think could dramatically change it for the better. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, lock it in.